A few days ago, I attended a Christmas party and I was slightly nervous beforehand. Now, I haven't drunk for nearly 4 years, but those events still give me a level of anxiety. I'm very aware of it and I make sure I have a plan in place and use all the strategies that I learned in the early days after I quit drinking. And I want to share those with you in this video so you know exactly how to survive the Christmas party or any other party for that matter. Now, before you even put on your best frock or your best suit, I think it's important to just take a moment and ask yourself whether you really want to attend or whether you really need to attend. Often we just go forward in default mode and think because a party's happening, we need to go. But throughout sobriety, I've seen people time and time again realise that they're actually more introverted than they are extroverted. People who thought they were the life and soul of the party realise that they actually prefer a good book and a nice cup of hot chocolate. That's absolutely what happened in my experience. So before you set foot out of the door, think about whether you really want to go, what you're going to get out of it. If you're going to a venue where absolutely everybody's going to be drinking, I can almost guarantee that after a couple of hours, you're probably not going to have a great time. And as you may have seen on some of my previous videos, do the fog test. Are you going out of fear, obligation or guilt? If it's any of those reasons, then the chances are that you probably don't want to attend in the first place. But it can feel harder to get out of a work Christmas party, but you absolutely have the right to choose not to go. And it just needs you to step out of the people pleasing mode and speak your truth. But if you feel more comfortable making an excuse, that's absolutely fine if it keeps you safe and it protects you and allows you to look after your sobriety. This is all about you putting yourself first. So that first big tip is to assess whether you really want to go, whether you really need to go. Now, at the party that I attended, there were 3 or 4 people there who didn't drink alcohol. I can remember at past parties from 4 or 5 years ago, I actually ridiculed those same people for not drinking. And I feel a level of guilt about that now. I think I've squared it off with them. And these days, I completely respect them for the choice that they make. It's interesting, these are the younger people in the group, and they choose not to drink. I wouldn't call them consciously sober. Some of them have never drunk. I think young people these days often view alcohol as their parents' drug. It's just something that they don't find particularly cool. And I think it's wonderful to see people making that choice. But it can also be super helpful when there's people at a party who aren't drinking, because you can align yourself with them, you can feel supported and protected, and you can even open up to them about your own experience of not drinking. Everybody doesn't drink for their own individual reasons, and it's a great conversation starter. Don't feel ashamed or embarrassed about your choice not to drink. Most people simply become curious when you share. They're interested and want to understand why. It's fairly rare that you'll encounter judgment. That's not to say that it doesn't happen, but if you align yourself with other people who aren't drinking, you're going to keep yourself well on track to have a really enjoyable party. So assuming you decide to go to the party, you've aligned yourself with some people who don't drink. Hopefully, there may not be people there who don't drink, but if that's an option, absolutely take advantage of it. I also recommend dressing up, making a real effort. If you feel good on the inside, you're going to exude confidence both inside and outside. And that's going to really help you. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to feel confident about your choice not to drink. You're probably going to feel confident when it comes to talking about not drinking if the subject comes up. It's going to set you up for absolute success. So make a real effort. Wear something you feel confident and comfortable in and that makes you feel good about yourself. Believe me, it really helps put you in the right frame of mind so that you can go out and absolutely smash the party and have a great time. When you arrive at a venue, it's common to be offered drinks. Often they're on a tray and people are offering you complimentary champagne, but there's usually also an alcohol-free option. Often there's an orange juice cocktail or something like that. But you may just go straight to the bar. No matter what the situation, think think in advance what you're going to drink, what you're going to say, how you're going to order it, and even take the time to look on the website of the venue to find out what alcohol-free options are available. And if you feel self-conscious about your choice of drink, you could always get an alcohol-free drink and ask the bartender to pour it in the glass so other people don't see the bottle. Nobody's going to question you if you've got a glass in your hand, and if your glass is fairly full, people aren't going to offer you another drink because they're going to see that you've already got one. So think carefully about what you're going to order, make the commitment before you go, and absolutely stick to it. There's a wealth of incredible zero alcohol botanical drinks such as Seedlip. There's alcohol-free beers, wines, and sparkling drinks like alcohol-free Prosecco. There's a ton of options. Just make sure the venue's got what you want, and if they haven't, ask them if you can even bring your own. I've absolutely done that on occasion. So make sure you think in advance about what you're going to drink while you're there. Now, being drunk around your boss or your colleagues often ends in disaster. I can think of plenty of occasions where I drank heavily and made a complete fool of myself at Christmas parties. Think about what alcohol would actually add to the occasion. Before you go, play it forward like a movie. Consider what the next 24 hours might look like if you actually were to drink and you said something out of turn to your boss or said something to one of your other colleagues that you might end up later regretting. Alcohol and Christmas parties are a recipe for disaster. Have a sense of gratitude that you don't have to worry about that stuff. You're not going to do something you regret. You're not going to wake up the next morning cringing, worrying about who you tried to snog under the mistletoe, or the embarrassing text message that you sent, or the fact that you declared your love for your boss of 15 years and now you're cringing about going back into the office on Monday morning. When you don't drink, none of that happens. You can take it out of the equation. You can rest easy. I also recommend making a Christmas party an experiment, an opportunity to realise that you can have fun without alcohol. We've been brainwashed into believing that alcohol makes things fun, and it's an absolute myth. It's taken a bit of time for me to prove this to myself, but over the first year, I absolutely confirmed the fact that I have way more fun at social events when I don't drink. Alcohol made everything worse, so use the opportunity of attending a party to find out if you have more fun when you don't have alcohol involved. Go out there, gather the data, come back, write it down in your journal, notice what's going on, and notice if you actually find yourself more connected to people, more engaged and fully present. And incredibly, you'll probably find that you laugh a whole lot more. I absolutely do, and I think it's because we're not drinking, we're way more connected with people, we're much more engaged, and we really do enjoy ourselves more. Now, if you're struggling with anxiety about attending your Christmas party, you can't get out of it, but you don't really want to go, then my advice would be to fake it until you make it. Put on a smile, try your best to enjoy it. Treat it like an experiment, as I mentioned. If we can smile and act like we're having a good time, and just remember, it's only a couple of hours. It's not that long. Tomorrow's a new day. When we do this and we start to smile and try and intentionally have a good time, it sends messages to the brain and to the body that actually make that start to happen. And actually, the party that I went to recently, I really wasn't looking forward to it. And strangely, I was sat opposite somebody who's been doing a counselling course, and we got talking about therapy and issues from childhood and how they affect us in adulthood, which ties in with my new book, How to Heal Your Inner Child. And the conversation was just amazing. I ended up having a fantastic time. I wasn't trying to be the centre of attention, laughing, joking, getting drunk. I wasn't interested in that, but I found a deep connection with somebody, and it ended up being an evening that I'll remember for a long, long time. But I absolutely had to put on a big smile when I went in. And it did feel a little bit uncomfortable to start with, but once I'd settled down, once I'd got my position and I'd started connecting with people, it was absolutely absolutely fine. So put on a smile, remind yourself it's only a few hours. And it can also help to have something to look forward to the next day. Maybe give yourself a treat, take yourself off shopping or for a spa day to reward yourself for getting through something that's a challenge. And remember, this is another big milestone to tick off of your sober bucket list. What do you mean you haven't got a sober bucket list? It's vital to have a list of things that you want to accomplish over the first year. They might be things that you've never done before, or they might be things that you've only ever done while you've drunk alcohol. Dancing sober, for example, is a brilliant one. So think about what you want on that bucket list and go and start ticking those milestones off. Trust me, going to your first party without drinking is a huge accomplishment. You should feel extraordinarily proud of yourself. And my most important piece of advice with any party or any type of social event when you're not drinking is to have an exit plan. My exit strategy is that I always drive. So if I need to leave, it's very simple for me just to head out and go and get in the car. And remember, when most people are drunk, they don't even see you slip off. They don't even remember that you left or when you left. So have an exit strategy. Think about it in advance. Consider what you will do if you feel like you need to leave the situation. Your sobriety absolutely needs to come first. It's crucial. So if you follow all of those steps, I'm confident you'll set yourself up for success. Right next to me is another video that will help you navigate your way through the rest of the festive period. Hopefully this will help you. Just click on the video and you can watch that straight away. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. It's an amazing community and I would love you to be part of it. So until next time, I'll see you again very, very soon.